Okay, let's unpack this. We've gotten our hands on what has to be the most intense set of house-sitting instructions I have ever seen.
Yeah, this is not about watering the fern.
Not at all. This is the Hawthorne Estate Survival Protocol. And right up front, it promises a significant bonus for your discretion, which I think is code for a bonus if you make it out alive and don't talk about it.
Well, the source document is titled, very formally, House Sitting Instructions for the Hawthorne Estate. And the family is supposedly in Europe, which, after reading this, sounds less like a vacation and more like an escape.
It really does. So our mission today is to treat this as a real manual. We need to figure out which rule protects you from which entity and just how fast a simple mistake could get you, well, killed.
It seems like common sense is the first thing you have to throw out the window here.
Absolutely. The Hawthorns have replaced it with procedure.
And that procedure, it starts with the familiar, the mechanical and the biological. Rules 1 and 2.
Okay, so rule 1, the alarm system. Code is 8421. Simple enough, right?
Seems standard.
But the system has this glitch. It will start flashing intruder detected. And the manual is very clear. Do not panic. The fix is to enter the code backwards. 1248.
Which is already weird. It suggests the house itself is unstable? But that's not even the scariest part of the rule.
No. The escalation is what gets me. Because if that message changes from intruder detected to just one word, run.
You ran.
You leave the house, you get in the car, and you wait there until morning. The house itself is telling you that the threat level is now critical.
The building is confirming that you are past the point of being saved by the rules. It's an evacuation order from the house itself.
Which is terrifying. And that leads us right into the biological threat. Rule 2, feeding Mr. Paws.
It starts so mundane. 1 can of wet food, 6:00 p.m. sharp.
But after you put the bowl down, this is where it gets just wild. You have to perform a physical
You
inspection.
have to count the cat's legs.
You have to count the number of legs on the cat. I mean, that single action just changes everything. It redefines what you thought was a normal pet.
And there are 2 outcomes, right? If he has 4 legs, you're fine.
Yeah, pet him. Great. Your evening continues.
At it. If he has more than 4 legs, or, and this detail is so important, if his eyes have become vertical slits.
You put the food down slowly, you back out of the kitchen, and you do not go back in there until the sun is up.
And the reason given in the manual is just, it's the ultimate understatement.
It's perfect domestic horror. It just says he gets grumpy when he changes.
Grumpy. Not monstrous, not deadly, just grumpy. It tells you that this kind of conditional horror is just Tuesday at the Hawthorne estate.
Exactly. It's not about being brave. It's about knowing the very specific conditions of the threat. Okay, so once you've survived the kitchen, the manual moves on to threats that are more psychological.
Which brings us to Rule 3 and the oil painting of great-grandfather Silas Hawthorne.
Described as a stern man, and during the day, he's just a painting. But after 11:00 p.m.,
The rule activates.
you cannot look at his face at all.
And if you do, accidentally, there's a protocol for that too. A very specific verbal apology.
You have to say, word for word, forgive me, sir, I forgot my place. And then you bow your head. It's like a ritual.
It is. It's a verbal key to try and disarm him, but it might not work.
Right, because the trigger for, absolute terror is if his frown changes to a smile.
Oh, that's bad.
If he smiles, you run straight to the master bedroom, lock the door. The manual just says he doesn't like guests.
So that smile is the signal. The appeasement failed, and the static object is now mobile and hostile.
From there, we go to the library, Rule 4. And this one seems almost generous at first. You can read anything you want.
Kept for the books bound in dark red leather.
And we find out why pretty quickly.
They scream when you open them. But that's not even the real problem, is it? The sound itself is just the trigger.
No, the screaming is bad because it wakes the things in the attic.
Plural. Things. We never find out what they are, just that they're there and they're sleeping. And you do not want to wake them up.
It really implies this whole ecosystem of horrors the Hawthorns are just managing.
And if the screaming books are a trap you can avoid, Rule 5 is a direct psychological assault. The blue door.
It's locked. It must stay locked, period.
Regardless of what you hear on the other side.
And what you hear is it's weaponized empathy. It starts with knocking. Okay, you can ignore that. Then a child crying.
Harder to ignore. It pulls at your instincts.
But the manual knows you might resist that, so it escalates. The final sound you hear is your own mother's voice.
Begging you to let her out. I mean, that is just Genius-level cruelty.
It's designed to break you, to make you ignore the rules and act on pure emotion.
And your only defense is this brutal, mandated denial. You have to tell yourself, we do not have a guest, we do not have a child, your mother is not here.
You have to choose the protocol over your deepest human instincts. It's chilling.
That rule alone tells me the Hawthornes are experts in this. They know exactly what buttons to push.
That denial of reality is, wow, it's a powerful theme. So, moving on, we get these very specific entity profiles. It becomes less about psychological traps and more about dealing with things that are actively hunting you.
Yeah, let's talk about Rule 6 and Sarah, the previous sitter.
Ugh. This is what happens when you fail. She changed, the manual says, because she didn't follow the rules.
And her profile is so specific, you'll see her in the backyard wearing a yellow dress, just staring up at the sky.
And the protocol is simple. Close the blinds immediately, because she'll try to get in.
But not through the door. She scratches at the windows. The manual adds this horrible little detail.
She has forgotten how to use doorknobs. That detail shows you how far gone she is, how inhuman she's become.
And if she does get inside, the survival protocol is almost impossible.
You have to hide in the pantry and hold your breath.
Hold your breath. Why?
Because she hunts by the sound of respiration. She has too many teeth now.
So the very act of breathing, the most basic sign of life, is what draws her to you. The rule isn't be quiet. It's cease to exist for as long as you can.
It's an insane level of control to ask for when you're terrified.
From an auditory hunter to a sensory one. Rule 7, the night hag.
Strict curfew. Lights out at midnight. No exceptions.
Because she comes to check on you. And her method is physical. You wake up with a heavy weight on your chest. Classic sleep paralysis horror.
But with a very real consequence. The defense is to stay completely still and keep your eyes shut.
No matter what.
Because if you open them, she will take them.
Take them. It's a test of pure willpower. You trade your sight for your survival just for that moment.
And even with all this going on, you still have chores to do. Which brings us to the basement. And the laundry.
Rule 8. There's a very small window of safety. You can only do laundry between 1:000 p.m. and 3:0 p.m.
Why them?
Because that's when they are sleeping. Again, plural, they.
But one of them isn't always asleep. This is where we meet the tall man.
Right. A shadow that looks like a tall man wearing a sack over his head.
And the protocol for seeing a literal monster in the basement isn't to run or scream, it's to ignore him.
Just keep doing the laundry. You have to pretend this is completely normal.
That is until he speaks to you.
Yeah.
Which is just a whole other level of terrifying. He might offer to help you fold the sheets.
And you have to politely decline. A sack-headed monster wants to help with chores, and you have to mind your manners. What happens if you say yes, or if you're rude?
We don't know, but the rule implies a social contract, a bizarre moment of etiquette with a monster.
And this connects back to the kitchen, doesn't it? There's a note about the fridge.
Yes. Avoid the meat drawer on the bottom shelf.
It's for the basement things.
So they're being fed. The Hawthornes are actively provisioning these entities. The tall man isn't just an intruder. He's a resident.
So after all of that, the cat, the painting, Sarah, the night hag, the man in the basement, you'd think if you survived the night, you'd be safe.
You would think. But this is where it gets really, really interesting. The final rule. Rule 9. The departure. This is the last test.
And it might be the hardest one. The family calls from the driveway to let you know they're back. But you have to verify them.
They ask you a question. How was the weather?
And there is only one correct response. It's a passphrase.
You have to say, the rain washes the sins away.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
No deviation. And if you say it correctly, you would assume you're home free.
But you're not. Because the danger isn't over. If the people in that car don't accept the answer, or, and get this, if they smile too wide...
You do not let them in. They are not the Hawthornes.
Wait, just hang on. So you survive all the supernatural, monstrous things inside the house, only for the final threat to be the very people who hired you.
Or something that looks like them. Something that can mimic their car, their voices, but gets a small human detail wrong. An emotion that's too big, too predatory.
That's the most unsettling part of this entire document. It means the danger isn't just some monster you can hide from. It's subtle. It's mimicry. Trust is impossible.
The contradiction is just staggering.
Mm-hmm.
After everything, your survival depends on judging the sincerity of a smile.
The whole document, it's a masterclass in this kind of conditional survival. It proves that common sense will get you killed in that house.
Absolutely. You have to count legs, not breathe, bow to a painting, lie to a voice that sounds like your mother. Every rule is counterintuitive. Survival is about memorization, not courage.
And a single failure means you either become changed, like Sarah, or you lose your eyes,
Yeah.
or you're hunted by the sound of your own lungs working.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean? If the real Hawthorne family set up these insane, deadly traps, what on earth did they need to get from Europe that was worth all this, worth sacrificing a house sitter? And the bigger question for you, the listener, if you survived all this, if you collected that significant bonus, would you ever be able to trust an easy job again? You survived the monsters, only to find out the real puzzle might just be the people who gave you the keys.